Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am PANCZASU, welcome back to Cultists playthrough slash tutorial. Many things we need to do today, oh yes indeed. Firstly, we need to deal with the necrophage scoundrels who destroyed our beautiful lovely little ended village. But that can wait until later, because right now, unfortunately, I do not quite have the army to do that. What I do have, however, is something I glossed over last time and didn't even mention, is the fact that I now have access to nameless guards, also known as headless guards by me, because apparently I'm retarded. So, how do I want to retrofit them? Pretty much, very simply, add a bow, and that's pretty much about it. They don't need anything else in my eyes. You may sometimes want to boost their initiative if you feel like you can actually get to a decent amount of initiative. 31 initiative is not what I consider a decent amount, and the increasement of cost in this unit, in terms of industry, as you can see, that's 130, and take this off, it's 105. In my eyes, it's better to keep those guys as lower initiative, but have more of them. They will be rangers anyway, they can fire after the enemy comes closer to them, it's mostly fine-ish. Of course, having initiative advantage is always good, but it's not that important for me to invest in too much. Besides, another thing that is fairly important is that... What did I... Oh yeah, is that the enemy is endless AI, so they most of the time will indeed have better initiative. So trying to outdo them in terms of initiative is probably a wasted effort. Now, before I actually move out of my city with a decent army that could possibly withstand the power of the Necrodons, I need to have at least one nameless guard, and this is just a minimal amount. In theory, I should have more than that, but since right now I can only have 4 units in an army at the most, I'll just go with that. And additionally, there are also some other things that this army needs to accomplish, so I need it out ASAP. I'll talk about why in a second. So let's see how fast I can get the nameless guard out. Now, I do need the Diplomat's Mans very quickly, which is because it's very important for my quest. But it looks like I can get the nameless guard in 2 turns. Can I get him in a single turn? Let's have a check. No, indeed I cannot. The best thing I can do is get him in 2 turns, which is still fine, mind you, so I'll just be satisfied with that. Diplomat's Mans is 6 turns is a bit too much, but 5 turns is good. I'll still satisfy the quest's requirements for make peace not war, and this should be good enough. Of course, assuming that the Dragons will even want to sign a peace treaty, which is not a given. AI sometimes is pretty evil warmongery, like they don't sometimes like to sign peace treaties because they just don't like you. You're a player, you're not worthy of their attention, apparently. So I'm actually kind of tempted to rush Diplomat's Mass even more, because when we go into science we can see that I still do not have We Are Legion technology, which is absolutely crucial. Seriously, I don't know if I emphasized on this enough before. I feel like I did, but levels are insanely important. The more levels you have, well, obviously you know the better, but the difference between levels can be quite significant, so try to get as many levels as possible. We Are Legion is amazing for that, so yeah, I'm gonna go for that next as soon as Diplomat's Mans is ready, and for that reason alone, even though I have my policy to invest in dust, I think I'm actually gonna move my population around and try to get Diplomat's Mans in just 4 turns. Like so, I'm even tempted to move my influence population, but no, I need to have a decent amount of influence gain, otherwise I'll not be able to convert enough villagers, and I do need to do that, obviously. So, let's move this army around, let it explore some more ruins. Yay, more dust, I need that, because I need that extra hero. I could attack this neutral army, there's not really a point to that though, other than gaining more levels on my neutral units, which I do need, but at the same time, if I have to fight to gain levels, I'd much rather fight some neutral villages, instead of just like roaming armies for no reason. Alright then, let's end this there. Next turn I'll be very close to getting a new hero, in fact I think that in 2 turns I'll be able to do that. Now, why do I need an army so badly to march out of the city? Not to contest the necrophages, even though I need to do that at some point anyway, but mostly to start cleaning out those villages, finishing the faction quests, and converting as many of them as possible. And I will need a second army to do that effectively and quickly. So I'll show you my plan in a second as soon as I'm done with this town screen. Let's actually go ahead and try and finish a triangle, shall we? I think it's not the worst idea I ever had. It doesn't matter which tower I go for, but this tower, if I settle on it, then I'll feel like a boss, for no particular reason whatsoever. So let's go ahead and create a Borough Street right there. and see if I can move my population into science. No, indeed I cannot. I need to keep on working on industry as much as I can. Diplomat's mass will be ready when it's ready. Alright, that's all done. So, this army is just going to continue scouting around looking for ruins and perhaps villagers to talk to. I already got a quest from... who are they? Delvers? Yeah, I already got a quest from them, so I can't really do anything else with this village. So I'll just go ahead and keep scouting a little bit. I still think that there are not too many players around this part, so I can do this with relative safety. Of course, I need to be back in this region in 6 turns, but it's still okay. So what my plan is to have my second army, and I'm going to use it to clear out those ruins and swoop back around like so, with a C-type shape movement, and to grab as many villagers as possible and convert them as much as possible. Now, I mostly want to convert villagers that are to the north of me, because these are relatively safe from the necrophage threat and from other players as well, since I... oh, hold on a second. Somebody is coming. Pink. Who was pink? Who was pink? Roving clans? Yeah, those are the roving clans. That's bad, because roving clans will ban me from the marketplace if I meet them. They do that. They just love banning people from marketplace for no reason whatsoever. Even if you are allied with them, they will ban you. They did that to me. I was allied with them and they still banned me. So, seriously, avoid roving clans like plague until you can actually kill them. That's my honest advice. Alright, let's go ahead and keep on moving along. Since the enemy is to the east, I think that, again, west should be more or less safe. Speaking of safe, it looks like I was wrong. This village has actually been pacified already. But maybe I can just go ahead and convert it now. I mean, since it is pacified, then why not? Let's go ahead and level up my hero, since he is ready to do that. And maximum point of Impassioned Preacher. Very, very nice. I should be pretty beastly right now. I cannot reactivate Titan Bones, unfortunately, but I do have my army, which is all I really needed and wanted. Alright, 7 production in most things, and a ton, and I do mean a ton of influence gain, but I still need even more influence, so let's get on that. Can I get Diplomat Mass next turn? I would really appreciate that. Yes, indeed I can. Ball Streets will barely be produced, but that is a sacrifice that I, you know, can deal with. Next turn I'll obviously move my population from science into something else, like food, most likely, and a bit of dust as well. I still cannot afford a hero, can I? Actually, I can afford some of them. Who can I not afford? The ones I don't want anyway. So let's have a quick look at them. As I said, I really need a hero that gives me extra... what's it called? Attack range. Actually, does she? I don't remember. She does give me attack range as well. So let's just compare the people who are of the ranged clans, because they are the ones that have access to this ability. So, first we've got the Sapper. She's got army defense boost, and nothing more than that that supports the army itself. She's also long range and technolover, which are utterly useless traits. I mean, having a good hero of long range is not bad, but it's not exactly benefiting the rest of my army directly now, is it? So that's decent, not too good. Army defense boost 2 is not special. Now, Master Nekwazeban. He sounds much more impressive, but he only has army initiative boost, which is perhaps even less useful, since I'm probably going to have low initiative regardless, so I'm not a big fan of that. Better of Judith. She's got army defense boost again and nothing else. So far, so boring. Army attack boost. Now, this is delicious. But nothing else than that. Still, he is probably better than the other ones. She's got nothing whatsoever. She's worthless. And this guy has, again, nothing for the army. So, the guy with army attack boost seems like the best choice. Do we have anybody on level 2? No, there is nobody on level 2. They all cost the same amount, so what we can do is have a quick look at the class abilities, since obviously I might want to do some other things with the heroes. So if I were to buy this guy and use him as a general, I would not really be able to do anything else. I mean, the only army supportive unit ability that Wild Walkers have is Functioning Somniac, which is actually good for generals. It's actually pretty effing decent, but that's about it. So let's go ahead and have a look at the Voters. Now, the Voters, as you can see, they have a bunch of abilities that allow them to benefit cities, but they also have this, Escape Artist, which I'm a particular fan of, because being able to leave besieged cities is sometimes pretty crucial. Again, not necessarily for people that are army leaders though, so it's not really all that impressive, and as you can see, most of those things focus on the hero, even though there's a really nice defense bonus for hero. But who cares about that? She's a ranger, so that's not particularly amazing. And when we go to roving clans, it's mostly just about trade and whatnot. So ownership recovery, trade, more production, trade. So none of those heroes are particularly useful in terms of the faction traits, but still the best remains the Wild Walkers hero. purely because of functioning Insomniac, and because he's got... That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. Because he has the army attack boost, which I consider to be the most useful out of the bunch. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab Soila Tocho 2. That's certainly the guy. Alright, let's go ahead and buy him out. Very nice. And I'll assign him to an army ASAP. So that's my new lovely army. It's kinda delicious, isn't it? Delicious looking and whatnot. Let's go ahead and assign him. I do want to equip him with better equipment. Right now, I can only give him a better bow from the same era. Actually, I cannot even do that. It will cost me a bit of dust, yeah. So let's just not make any changes. I do want to give him some better equipment because it's important. So I think I'll not use all of my movement points and just get close to the border, but remain within my border's territory, so that I can possibly upgrade him next turn. Alright. Meanwhile, my city. Since I want to upgrade my hero, I will need to have some extra dust production. Let's go down on that. Oh wait, let's not overdo it, shall we? I do need Diplomat's Mass next turn. Alright, it's still the same turn. That's annoying. I guess I'll move my population from influence production into dust. That's 32. It will actually not be enough to improve my hero. So you know what? Let's just scrap this idea. It was a nice idea while it lasted, but I will not be able to give this guy better equipment of any sorts, unfortunately. But there isn't much I can do about it, so let's just ignore that for the time being. And end the turn. Because I can and because I'm a boss. Not really, but I can pretend that I am. Alright, I'll take a sip of water while the turn is processing, so give me a second. Water is seriously the nicest thing ever. Alright, Diplomat's Mass completed. Let's see if I can talk to the Draken and knock some sense into their heads. They're probably pitying me if I had to get... Oh, dismissive, that's worse. If AI is pitying you, that means that it knows it can crush you, but it's not currently planning on doing so. More or less, that's just a generalization, but it's basically what it thinks. If it's dismissive, I usually find out that it means it wants to kill you, but it's not yet committed to the idea. Usually it will become committed if you're too close together or whatnot. So that's a problem, but maybe I can still go for a peace treaty. Oh wow, they actually like it! That's a first! Every effing time I ask AI for a peace treaty, they're like, nope, you have to pay us. But this time, wow, that's actually amazing. Let's see what tech I can grab from them. Statistical methods would be... city center and district, that's pretty decent, but that's about it. Borough government. Good for defense, but I don't need defense just yet. Extra happiness I don't need. Alchemy workshop, easy to make and fairly decent, although not too useful for cultists. Public granary, again, okay, but not that amazing. Alloys I will not be using too much. Imperial highways, almost useless, not entirely, but decent. Imperial coinage I do need, but at the same time there are roving crowns nearby, so I feel like I might not even be able to use this ability too much. And then we've got tier 1 stuff that I didn't grab. Alchemist Finance is actually kinda important though. But let's focus on the most important things, and this is the best tech I can get. Okay then. They don't want to give me that. How about I bribe them with spices? They don't even care about it. Okay. Let's not go for this kind of tech. I could of course trade some of my own technologies, but I don't want to make this guy stronger. On the military side, to be entirely honest with you, it's not a very powerful tech. It would make taking their cities a bit of a pain, but at the same time 60 city fortification is not a huge deal. I could do that. Will that be enough though for the... where is it? Statistical methods. No, it will not. It would get closer, but not close enough. How about Alchemical Workshop? Again, if I traded something else for it too. Alright, let's see. What else? What can I get? Public granary. I actually can get, and still have a bit of room left for other treaties. So I can ask them for spices. Not all of the spices, but a few of them. Like, let's say 10 spices. It's not a bad deal. I mean, spices, after all, are useful. 10 is not good enough, but... Alright, 8 spices at the cost of 6 influence. I consider that to be entirely worth it, and they'll still accept my offer. So, let's go ahead and make the offer. They'll accept it then. We are now at peace, which is great. And this quest will now be fulfilled. So, this is great. Absolutely amazing. We can now establish trade routes and whatnot. Obviously, we won't. I don't even know where those guys are. So, I can now go ahead and pacify those villagers starting next turn, and I'll start moving there fairly quickly, but firstly though, I want to convert this village right there, because I'm already here. I might as well do it. So let's go ahead and convert those guys. Very nice. I got myself an asswork. Now there isn't much I can do with this guy. I cannot attach him to this army. I don't even need to do it, to be entirely honest with you. So I'll keep on moving along in this general direction, and I'll probably move this asswork down south and create a bigger military area, like outpost in this village once I convert it. It seems like a decent staging point where I keep my army and from which I can attack the necrophages when the time comes. Speaking of which, the time has come to destroy this village because my quest requires me to do so, so I'll do just that. What else? We Are Legion is on its way. Now, next thing I need is meritocratic promotion. Usually that's not the first thing I get. There are two things that actually almost three things I consider to be, or even four. Well, it depends. The other techs that are very important are things like, for example, destructive analysis, for reasons I explained before. Conscription center, super important again, because it gives extra experience. I cannot overestimate how important that is. Imperial coinage, if not for the roving class, I would say it's essential. Because of the roving class, it's less so, but it's still important to have. And I will need to get that. I really will need to get that. Other things that I like are, for example, Alchemy Workshop. Sure, it doesn't benefit the cultists too much, but it still does give us extra science, and this is kind of necessary. And of course, extra simulation slots, again, very, very useful, especially once you assimilate a lot of a single species. In my case, Jotus, no, that would be useless, wouldn't it? I'll see what I can find. What else I can find, rather. What else is there? Well, do not fall for a trap of going for management sciences or canal system. Unless you actually settle down your city in a region that has, let's say, 3 villages, in which case it would be worth to get those technologies, otherwise it's not. Because this extra industry and exploitation or terrain with industry, it only works on tiles within your region. So for example, if I had that, it would also benefit the tiles around this village. But it would not benefit the tiles around this village. They would be unaffected. So as such, this technology is almost worthless for the cultists. It's not entirely worthless, but there are other far more important technologies. However, if you have moved from a starting region and settled somewhere that has, let's say, 3 manufacturing villages, then yes, by all means, because the benefits will actually be quite significant, and in my eyes, worth it. Alright, I think I can end the 10. I did everything I needed to, except for moving my population away from science production. Oops. Now it's a bit late, isn't it? Well, I guess I'm getting closer to We Are Legion, which is fairly important, but still, that's not exactly top on my priority list, is it? No, it is not. Okay, the guy is now... He actually... What's it called? He actually sent me a warning as like a 10 after we sent a peace treaty, which is kind of weird, but whatever. I got blood crystal, enough for 2 uses, which is nice. I'll be able to get some decent attack if I need to fight against the necrophages. I'll leave some population working on science, but mostly I'll focus on food, I think. Population growth in 3 turns is decent. Let's see how well it can be. 3 turns for population is nice. Let's move some population into dust as well. Public granary. This would actually be kind of delicious. So you know what? Let's rush public granary. How quickly can I get it in 3 turns? I would rather have a public granary in 3 turns than extra 1 population in 3 turns. Because public granary, you can see how great those benefits are for cultist city with a cultist hero inside. Alright, 25 dust per 10 is actually kind of rubbish, I'll be entirely honest with you. I don't really have a valid way of boosting that, unfortunately. And I do need to keep some people on dust production, otherwise I'll be just too far behind in terms of dust. And I do need some dust to operate. Besides, I know from experience that soon enough I'll start running into dust problems. It's just gonna happen, so I might as well start preparing for this. Alright, this army is moving very nice. Let's go ahead and have a battle. I do want to discover what is in this territory, so let's attack from this angle so I see what is over there. This will be nice. Maybe I'll discuss some necrophages as well. So let's do that. Devers. I should be able to absolutely wreck them. I'm tempted to go for auto battle. The battle is on ultra fast animation, and I kind of want to see some action because we have not seen any of this video, and it's fairly lengthy-ish already. Alright, so those guys have a pathetic initiative, which is good because they can stun you, so you don't want them to attack first at all. So let's go ahead and move a little bit closer to the action and make sure that my nameless guys are surrounded by as many units as humanly possible. And that attack after the fanatics, which is great. It means that the fanatics will take the retaliation of the enemy, and then the Ended will finish the enemy off. So you go like this, you go like this. Actually, Ended can attack from over here. So you do this, you do that. And then you focus on finishing this guy off, because this guy will probably die after being attacked by both Ended and the fanatic. Alright, seems like a decent enough plan. Let's go ahead and execute it. So firstly, of course, this guy again. Devils are actually decent now. They used to be absolutely pathetic, but with circular attack and stun ability, They are pretty good. Not exactly my favorite because of the stat line, but they still can do some decent damage. But as you can see, they die easily, so unless they do get a secular attack and stun, they're kind of worthless. And from my experience, they usually have troubles doing that, so I'm still not a big fan of the Devils, but I'm happy that they're actually useful. Alright, gain some influence, and I can gain some influence, and I'll pacify that tribe over there as well, which is nice and useful. What did I discover over here? Not much, honestly. There's a ruin I could explore, but it's too far away. How much does it cost to... Oh, 120. It will be cheaper to pacify those guys because they will be peacefully pacified. So let's focus on doing that instead. You can keep banning for the time being. So actually, it's the Devils that told me to kill the Devils. I just realized. That's nasty. You're brethren. Why are you doing this? Whatever. I guess it's for the same reason humans wage wars. It kind of makes sense. Anyway, let's go ahead and end this turn as well. Go away, fly. Why are you eating my... What is this? It's like... It looks like just a bit of dust. Why are you eating dust? I mean, if the fly ate dust, then that would be okay. But I bet there was some food on it. So this fly will grow stronger and be annoying and whatnot. I don't like this. Alright, less production on cities. This is actually good. And you might be surprised, but I do mean it. It's good. Because this hits big empires really badly. As well as two empires, also it hits them quite badly. I, however, don't care. I have one city, and most of my power does not come from industry production either. My power comes from villagers that spawn units, my power comes from indirect manipulation, my power comes from units that spawn for me for free, rather than me making things. So, by having the enemies pay more for their stuff, that's great, because they will not be able to swarm me as easily as they normally would. So this is absolutely perfect. Alright, I need to return to this village to complete this quest. This will take a while. But this is actually kind of decent at the same time, because I can do two things at the same time. I can convert this village and this village right away. Will I have enough influence to do that? I'm not entirely certain just yet, but I'll see if I can. Do I want to do that though? I can either get more Devers in my ranks or more Jodas. Jodas are more important and those villagers are better guarded. How about Fitz again? Both villages spawned in really awful locations for Fitz again. And this village is actually kind of decent. You know what? F those guys, I will not convert them, I'll focus on the Jodas instead. Alright, with that out of the way, what else do I want and or need to do? Let's have a quick think about things. Things are doing okay. Now public granary is going to take longer because of the winter. I'm willing to just deal with that. More influence gain? Actually, I kind of do need it. Weird Legion is going to take 3 turns regardless, so let's just focus on influence a little bit. Dust... You know what? As long as I'm in the positive, it's good. I'm not going to be able to buy anything anyway. And I really do need some extra influence. So let's just go ahead and try to work on that. I could move my army into my city, but it will not make it in one turn because it's winter. And I would have to pay for the dust maintenance of individual armies, which is a pretty bad idea, all things considered. So I'm obviously not going to do just that. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and end this turn as well. And in fact, this videocast has been reasonably lengthy already. So I think that after I level up this hero, I'm just going to go ahead and end it. Ladies and gentlemen, oh yes, you do need extra movement. It was PANCZASU, also known as the Mighty Mix Spammer. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you online. And for the dramatic outro, pacified.